Hey, how are you? My name's Felton. Welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena, where we are being the villain again. This deck before you is Historic Brawl, starring Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, as your commander. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, for those of you not acquainted with him in Historic Brawl, is probably one of the ruder commanders to play against. You play him in a very controlling way, based around going for massive card draw, massive amounts of interaction with counter spells out the ass, typically winning through alternate win conditions or potentially even just going for planeswalker style win cons. And if you are allowed to land him on board with protection in hand, he is very hard to get rid of because his -3 will tuck away anything that your opponent wants to keep on board, and his +1 will allow you just free mana during your opponent's turn, as well as card advantage. It's a very powerful planeswalker. Very powerful stuff. This deck list will be in the description. I'm not going to go into it too much in detail, but I will say that our general win con is grinding our opponent into dust and then just winning through card advantage, letting our opponent have no advantage, and then stuff like Eternal Wanderer, Sanctuary Warden, Steel Seraph, Torrential Gearhulk, Dream Trawler style stuff. We just kind of grind the game to a slow halt, play big stuff, protect our big stuff with a combination of Teferi and counterspells, and then from there just slowly crush our opponent under our boot. Why am I phrasing it like this? Teferi is just really powerful. He is in Hell Queue for a reason. By Hell Queue, I mean you are playing up against Kennen Bonder Prodigy, Miram Sentinel Worm, tons of Jodas, Magda Brazen Outlaw, and Fangbearer. All of these commanders that are usually really fast to win and really strong as a result of that. Teferi, he's in there with them because he can hold on and then just slowly turn the tide into his favor. You should probably mulligan pretty aggressively with this deck, and you need to know your matchups. You need to know that Magdas are trying to get her out early. You need to know that Kennens are trying to ramp and typically play a lot of interaction. You need to know that Uros are doing the same thing, and you need to know how to play around those ideas and mulligan effectively to deal with them. You might run into a lot of people who insta-scoop. You might run into a lot of people who scoop pretty early in the games, but I still think this is a really fun commander for Historic Brawl, and I really enjoy playing with him, even if it does make me a bit of a villain. Either way, let's hop right into some gameplay, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Okay. Alright, we are playing into Yawgmoth Thrown Physician. We are going first. This hand... If these counterspells targeted Yawgmoth in particular, I'd be a bit more okay. Instead, I will have to mull. This is debatably okay. We can play Fateful Absence on curve, which is nice, typically hitting an important reanimation effect type creature that our opponent might be playing. Looks like they're just going for the hard ramp. I think we just played Jace on curve here to get a little bit of card advantage rolling. Looks like they're trying to play Yawgmoth ASAP. Looks like we milled over some pretty decent targets. Probably just kill Yawgmoth. Yep. So here we are going to be playing, I think, Celestis first, and then Fateful Absence. We do give our opponent a draw, but that's fine, because we are ramping our way into Teferi. And if we can get Teferi on board, it can be pretty difficult for a Yawgmoth deck to grind their value out. We'll see, though. We might just want to board wipe this, actually. They can sack 2 things, and then make me lose 2 life and sack a creature, and then they add black and draw a card. I think we just want to play Teferi here and get our card advantage engine going. They can't kill my stuff unless they run haste creatures, which I don't think you're gonna see too many of in mono black here. Okay, so we're gonna have to vanquish the Horde here, but we don't have any creatures for them to target. That's one of the joys of playing this deck into stuff like Yawgmoth. They have nothing to touch. They can sack and gain tons of card advantage, and that's great for them. Big ol', however, their board is gone. They're gonna sack their stuff, put -1 counters, draw a bunch of cards. We're gonna be sitting here for a minute. But, yeah, they don't have anything that they can target with these -1 counters. so they're not gaining that much value here. And we are making them get rid of their Yawgmoth again. Let's just kind of keep plussing Jace. Plus Teferi again. I think we're going to end up having to go for like an alternate win con. How much mana do they have? 5, 6? They can't play Yawgmoth, so we'll play Esper Sentinel in case they try and play something that bugs me. I think we're probably playing Midnight Clock here. Ah, yeah, they're hunting for answers here. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised they went for the Mind Stone first in place of the Clue token. I think that they didn't consider Esper Sentinel's trigger, and they were like, we're going to make him sack, then we're going to draw with the token, get tons of card advantage rolling, and then they realized that I'm just going to slowly grind them into dust. Because that's what Teferi does. GG's opponent, I think. Lana and Elena. Interesting. Not quite what I expected. I'm a little concerned about this hand. It might be a little too slow to deal with Alana and Elena. They are a very fast Gruul commander that tries to get stuff out ASAP. Looks like they're playing a little slow though. I was really expecting the turn 1 elf. Because that's typically what you see out of decks like Alana and Elena. They're trying to go super hard in the paint, so to speak. Turn 1 elf. Turn 2 mana rock and elf. I think we play Jace on curve here to try and either keep something tapped down. Oh, well, there's the elf. I think we actually go for Jace on curve here to just try and find some answers. Because they're going to get Helana and Elena out. We might just be hunting for... I wish I had known that that was on top beforehand. That's pretty rough. They can just play Helana and Elena if they have a land in hand, which they do. But they tap down everything to do it, which bodes pretty okay for me, honestly. Having to tap down everything means that I get to exile Helana and Elena and then just keep tapping down whatever it is that they are playing. I get to exile it. And this does allow me to play Deserted Beach, so I kind of hold up Saw It Coming in case they play something that I think will scare me.
Become subdued.
And now we are on the hunt for mana to be able to play Farewell when they get to replay Helana and Elena. We kind of want them to overcommit here. Thanks for the free card draw, and we are going to counter this. Let's hit it with the Dissipate. Go ahead and exile that. Do we chump block the Jaspera Sentinel? I don't think so. I think the Esper Sentinel is going to provide way more value than that, because it looks like they want to play maybe some Planeswalkers to get them some mana, to get their creatures out more effectively. And this allows us to hold up Saw It Coming. We do get to play Teferi on curve here, which isn't a bad idea, because we could tuck away the Jaspera Sentinel, ruin their mana ramp. And then we could keep the Dragon Master Outcast tapped down, meaning that they can't play Helana and Elena on curve. They are in Gruul, though, so they do have access to some pretty quick and typically hasty creatures. We might be getting roped here? No, they're just going to concede. Welcome to playing Teferi. They don't know what I have in hand, but they can assume it's very controlling, and they can guess that because I'm going to get to draw more cards, I can play Teferi on curve, which is really hard for them. GG's opponent, you had a pretty quick start. I think if they'd gotten Jaspera out untapped on 1, they would have been a lot scarier, though. GG's regardless. On to the next. So this Harvest hand, another thing that I don't think I mentioned in the intro as being one of the matchups you run into a lot. I do like this hand a lot, though. Turn 2 ramp. You should get used to seeing that if you're trying to play Teferi. Okay, we got a matchup into Hinata Dawncrowned. We have an okay hand. It counters any ramp that they could be playing, and then Doomscar can be effective. I don't think this is my best hand that I could get. I do like Tezzeret's Gambit in hand, though. Okay, that being tapped is... Yeah, I think unfortunately we just kind of have to hold up interaction here. Hinata's a bit of a scary one. I really want to play my Celestis, but I can't. Do they just play their commander on curve here? That's a choice. That allows us to play Celestis on curve, which is really nice. If we draw another land, it also allows us to foretell. It does not allow us to foretell. That's fine. We still have access to Spell Pierce in case they try and play something scary. Or Ramp E. Rampy. Spell Pierce, thank you for existing. We appreciate you, King. And I think we just play Teferi now, honestly, because now we just have a massive general advantage here. We have 2 extra turn spells in hand. The Hinata is in colors that can have pretty good answers to Planeswalkers. They could burn him out. They could Fateful Absence him. Thundering Rebuke.
Stop that now.
Let's go ahead and draw.
Hurry.
Play our thing, and then honestly, take an extra turn with Karns. Can I full control this? And then foretell as a... I feel like a genius for that play, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you could do that to where you can foretell like on end step. Which you absolutely can. I think we just play Mural here, actually. To just, like, totally lock them out of the game on my turn. And then we actually untap like this. We're trying to not let them in on the fact that we have Mana Tithe. We're trying to make them think that we have something else. Vanish into eternity. I mean, that's okay.
This is hardly my worst.
Action. I'm not surprised. Do we just play him again? I think we do, because we have an onboard threat here in Mural. Draw.
Hurry.
And then we do the same thing again. They might have guessed that we have, that we had Mana Tithe, but it looks like they didn't. Okay, full mana Jace here. Just really get card advantage rolling.
I've already read your thoughts.
Okay, we went over Memory Deluge. Absorb is great here. Draw a card, maybe hit another land. We sure did. Now we have access to Rewind. We only need the one for Absorb. Yeah, we do this, and then we have access to Dissipate as well. We could have played Rewind, but we would be very scared if they had... I think we go for it. Because even if they had a... Okay, yeah, this is just a dub now. I think we just straight up win here.
You know what?
I don't think they can do anything about what's happening.
You can be made
Whatever.
to obey.
I think that's just lethal? Is that lethal? That is exactly lethal. Okay, I was right. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, you just got to witness what happens when Teferi gets to exist. They played a pretty good game. They did have some solid plays. The Thundering Rebuke is a little odd. I think that's something that they include just because they're Hinata and it targets stuff and it does go after Planeswalkers. Having to use 2 spells to get my Teferi off board was pretty rough, and then from then on they were just behind on mana. Them not being able to get out their Mightstone to kill Mural, it kind of locked them out of playing on... Mural was locking them out of playing on my turn. Consuming Tide was a good idea, but at that point I'd already drawn too many cards and I had all my counter spells available. Could have solved the equation for another counter spell if I was still scared, but GG's opponent, you played pretty well. I just had a really, really good draw. On to the next. All right, we are on the play playing into Esca, God of the Tree. I don't love this hand, but I don't hate it. I'm on the play. I'm not keeping account. My opponent is really heavily mulliganing. They're probably hunting for ramp. Esca's decks are pretty, yeah, down to 5. I just want to play this so that I can, on turn 3, ramp my card draw. Interesting, blue to start. We're really just holding up swords for interaction purposes, if they have ramp creatures. Looks like it's just a ramp artifact. Literally doesn't bother me. Okay, yeah, let's just draw 3. They can't play Essica on curve here, which is really nice. Unfortunately, we might just be losing. I thought for sure I'd find some form of interaction by now, but it looks like the game is not on my side. That's really good for me. That's got to be a counterspell. Let's just draw. This is really bad. We have nothing, and they're about to play Essica on curve. They need one more mana to mana fix. Oh, they have it. Oh, that's so painful. Yeah, that's game. Yeah, that's not game, but I can't target it with anything, so that is effectively game. Oh, wait, no. Hang on. I can just play Teferi. What am I doing? I'm insane. I don't know why I didn't use my brain on that one. That's on my fault, viewer. That's on me. I forgot that Teferi is Teferi and that I have like a billion years to do whatever I want. Elish Norn, mother of machines. Well, she's gone. That's on me. That's on me. I just kind of forgot. I'm not gonna lie. Just straight up forgot. I don't really have anything to play here. Yeah, that's great. Don't care. Draw a card.
Keep up the pace.
Untap and pretend I have something to play. Yeah, that's absolutely on me. My opponent does have Essica coming up on this next turn, though, so I'm really going to hope that I find them. Find an answer, I mean. It looks like they're holding up either a counterspell or like a Doomscar or something. Let's play Sanctuary Wood in here. Let's remove a counter from Teferi, because Teferi doesn't really live here anyways. Play Ornithopter? Cycle away Mural. Draw a card and pray.
Hurry.
That is the luckiest thing of all time, and I'm not even joking. Why am I saying that? Defabricate counters target artifact or enchantment spell. Now, don't get me wrong, they could still have a counterspell in hand. And, oh, Doomscar. Okay, I don't have to care about that, and my Sanctuary Warden still lives. We also just got to Dissipate, so I think we basically win from here on out. Because now we have access to 2 counterspells in hand. And now we basically have infinite card draw. Because we can just, like, infinitely put stuff on Sanctuary Warden, and we never have to remove their shield counter. So now they only die via exile effects, and I have, like, 3 different counterspells in hand to deal with that. I think we just win from here. We do this first because Defabricate is a very, very specific counterspell that hits, like, enchantments in particular. Do I have anything down here that I want to play? Not really, but I do. I don't. Screw it. We just want to get more damage on board. And then let's play Union of the Third Path here, gain a bunch of life, draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Sanctuary Warden. We don't care about them getting mana ramp here. We're just going to draw a million cards now. And we have access to 2 counterspells, and I think this matchup is now basically over. They are gaining like 1 life a turn here, but I am dealing a lot of damage per turn. Let's play Chromatic Lantern. Just now we don't have to worry about any type of mana shenanigans ever again. And we just keep pumping the Sanctuary Warden. I think I more or less have this in the bag at this point. I feel really silly for not thinking early on that, oh, I can just play Teferi and get rid of their Essica. Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone play Overwhelming Splendor before. It's really interesting. I think that's lethal, though, so, Bye-bye, Essica. Man. I'm really embarrassed that I was thinking the game was over so early. I can't believe I forgot about Teferi's minus. Oh, man. That's why, personally, I think this matchup, no matter how the matchup is going, I think 9 times out of 10 it favors Teferi. Much more succinct mana base, much easier to play around. And the fact that they both come out on the same turn, typically. Sometimes one or the other gets to come out earlier, depending on who vamped harder. But they typically come out on the same turn, both being 5-drops. Teferi gets to immediately shove it back in their owner's library before they get any value out of it. But yeah. GG's opponent. I nearly lost to my own stupidity. On to the next. I didn't hit record in time because I was tabbed out writing a script. Literally loaded into an Essica matchup, and they insta-conceded. Little did they know, I had a command tower, and that was it. Welcome to playing Teferi. Sometimes they'll just insta-scoop. We are playing into Jodah the Unifier. Jodah is a pretty powerful 5-color commander. Unfortunately for them, Lavinia does kind of hard counter some of their shenanigans, so I kind of want to keep this hand. It's really bad for because of these 3 cards over here being a little too expensive, but there's a chance that if I draw a 3rd land, this hand could be really good, because if we get something good off Search for Glory, even if it's as simple as a land. Nice thing about Lavinia is that she literally hard counters spells that you're trying to cast off of your cascades with Jodah. Just hard counters them. They're trying to cast them with no mana. I actually built a stack around Lavinia that kind of worked on Arena. Ooh, spicy! Spicy, spicy. Alright, we got our Celestis down, so now we are sitting pretty. Go ahead and cycle, because I really do need to cycle here. I think drop Shatter this... Drop Shatter this guy's probably my best bet. Play this, and I'm literally just gonna go get Counterspell. Right? Do I go get... Oh, wait, no, this is Search for Glory. Whoops. We grab OG. And then we go ahead and foretell. Because now it doesn't matter what they get off of Jodah. If they try and play him on curve here, it doesn't work out for them. We actually play Dream Trawler here. Which we can discard a card and give myself hexproof. Okay, now we just swords Jodah. Because that's very worthwhile to do. Especially when they don't have mana for it. We play the Teferi. We draw N card. We get another +1/+0 for our Brawler. We swing. We draw another card. We hit him for 6. We gain 6. We end turn, untapping our 2 dual lands. I think we cycle here. Yeah, sorry, Legend Shredder. And then we have our secondary plan. I don't think I mentioned this in the intro. We have a secondary Yorion plan in the deck. With stuff like Dream Trawler, OG, Cloudblazer, and just Yorion. Oh, interesting. They got a Key to the Archive. They could get like a Doomblade or something out of that, right? Or a Time Warp. I guess I really want to try and find Counterspell now. So I probably want to play Cloudblazer on curve here. Gilded Goose, huh? They dropped Zakama? Interesting. I didn't even think that their deck would have Zakama. Ooh, Dovin's Veto. Very nice, actually. Draw. I'm just hunting for lands at the moment because it would just be nice. Also hunting for more counterspells. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Do I play Cloud Blazer here? I think I play Cloud Blazer here. Just draw some cards. I could have played it before combat, but I don't think that's the right play. I think instead this is the right play, and just play around the idea of, oh, I can do something. They can play Jodah here. I might just Doomscar the Jodah off the board. I think I might just, like, I should probably... I know what I should do. I should swing with everything, play Yorion, blink out Cloud Blazer and Dream Trawler, Doomscar, and then we're Gucci? I think they really want to play Jodah here. They play Demonic Tutor. And by they play Demonic Tutor, I mean they don't play Demonic Tutor because I have Dovin's Veto, which can't be countered. And they scoop, which is fair. I had a major card advantage engine on board. They had no way to attack into it. They don't know what I have in hand, but they can see I have a very full grip, including OG, who just allows me to scry into what I need. They can assume that I probably have blink effects based on the cards that I'm playing, which means that I'll have really good card advantage engines on board, probably being blinked. Yeah, no, that's absolutely a fair concede. GG's opponent, on to the next. Opponent goes first. We have Doomscar, but no way of getting the double white, so we're gonna go for something different, and in this case, different is good. Mana Tithe or Swords on 2, all the way up to a Dissipate on 3, or potentially just Tezzeret's Gambit to draw a bunch of cards. The Ozolith, not what I expected to see. I mean, it makes sense for a Halana and Elena deck. Oh, no. We don't do that here, opponent. We don't do that here. Get Mana Tithed. I mean, we do that here, but, like, we don't do that here. If they play another artifact or enchantment or something, we can defabricate it. We could also just defabricate the trigger of Halana and Elena, like let them play it and then just defab the trigger. Ooh, Marwyn. Marwyn's a little scary. I think we're going to kill Marwyn. Marwyn gives them access to a lot of mana. I think we let them play it, and then I think we Fateful Absence it. I don't think they want to play it though, right? Like, you don't want to play Halana and Elena in this exact instance because you have nothing to put your counters on. Oh well. We're okay with a Fateful Absence here because they just straight up don't have the mana. Right? Like, they don't have the mana to, like, warrant both drawing a card with that. Okay, yeah. That's fair. I had a really good opening hand, and I drew into the third thing that I needed. I didn't even have to show off Dissipate or Tezzeret's Gambit. Very controlling gameplay here at Twitch. Wait, this isn't Twitch. This is YouTube. At youtube.com/felcrowd0955. GG's opponent. So here we are with a bit of a wrap-up, like I do in most of my videos. I lost one game during all of my recording sessions, and I didn't include it because I had to mulligan 3 times into Magda and still didn't find interaction and just got smoked as a result, which I possibly could have included, but I didn't feel like it was like a great display of anything other than how good Magda is. And if I wanted to show off Magda, I'd just make my own video. But yeah, I hope you kind of got the gist of Teferi. You probably saw... I think I got some recordings of people just insta-scooping, which is fair. Teferi can be kind of frustrating to play against. I think it can be pretty fun to have a solid back and forth with if you're also on a control deck. Like if you're playing, say, something in Simic colors that's kind of controlling, or maybe one of the other Azorius commanders, like maybe a Lavinia Stacks deck, that can really like hold back Teferi and make him harder to land and be able to do stuff. But overall, I think Teferi is just absolutely busted good. He has access to so many powerful cards in both blue and white, and on top of that, you can just control the game and then play around some of the more powerful planeswalkers in the game, making sure that you almost always have counterspell mana by just +1ing on Teferi. Very good card, very powerful in this format, and I don't even think I have the best version of the deck around, honestly. But either way, I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but I'm going to keep mentioning it at the end because I think like 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed. What's up with that, guys? Go ahead, subscribe. It's free. And it helps me and the channel out a bunch. And you clearly like the channel if you're watching all the way to the end here. But thanks for watching. You're cool and I appreciate you, and I hope to catch you in the next one.